This is NBR Today. Well, the government has announced changes to the Employment Relations Amendment Bill, including that employers no longer have to conclude negotiations on multi-employment agreements, and union representatives will now require employers' permission to visit a worksite, except when covered by a collective agreement. So, a win of sorts for everyone, it seems.
I think the concerns that were raised by the business community, New Zealand First at least has listened to, and the government now has listened to them. And so I think it's, as I say, a combination of factors. But we certainly, that campaign ran for a considerable period of time, and it got a lot of feedback. And small to medium-sized businesses all over the country wrote to parliamentarians to express their concerns.
That was Business New Zealand's Kirk Hope. So what did the unions think? Well, here's the CTU president, Richard Wagstaff.
We've got improved employment law, improved access, improved bargaining. We think this law is long overdue, and it will help us do what we need to do to help working people.
So it seems everyone is happy, including, I'm sure, Winston Peters. Well, speculation is rife among the legal community on who will become New Zealand's next Chief Justice. Despite a consultation process underway, some in the legal community feel the process might be focused on how the person is perceived rather than their ability to make good law. Court of Appeal judges Justice Helen Winkleman and Justice Stephen Koss are viewed as the top contenders, with Supreme Court Judge Justice Mark O'Regan and Court of Appeal Judge Justice Joe Williams as outside runners. A problem highlighted by lawyers is that the current Supreme Court has so often been divided, creating precedents that can't be used. There's a strong feeling the next top judge needs the respect of their colleagues to create strong judgments and not become the anti-establishment figure Dame Sian Elias is viewed as. The contest is in early phases before Justice Sian Elias's retirement in March next year. The government has approved more than $1 billion of spending on regional economic development, but Minister Shane Jones says not all of it has been announced yet. Mr Jones says the Provincial Growth Fund is making a positive difference despite one or two hiccups. He points out, however, the biggest risk is when the fund makes grants to private sector companies, such as the $10 million loan to Ruapehu Alpine Lifts to build a high-speed gondola to take people to the top of Whakapapa.
I think those will always carry a high degree of risk, because you can do as much due diligence as you like with the firms that you're working with, and you can demand solvency tests and other such things. There's always another firm down the road who's hoha or a bit envious as to why their firm may not have been chosen for that level of Crown assistance. And in that way, we tend to rely on the economic development agencies that have been working with key firms that will have a transformational impact. And look, so far, so good to date. But for your viewers and folk interested in the stewardship of the fund, I'm the first to admit that there's a special set of risks when you do that.
He says that's different from investing in Kiwi Rail, which is really an example of the coalition spending money on itself. Mr Jones believes those risks are worth taking to strengthen the economic development of the provinces. Retirement village and aged care operator Arvida Group's net profit after tax was $30.5 million in the 6 months to September 30. That's up 111% on the same period last year. Underlying profit, which included 63% gains on the settlement of 165 sales of occupation rights, was up 45% to $17.9 million. The company's ramped up its development activity and expects its annual build rate to increase to more than 200 new homes from 2021. Chief Executive Bill McDonald says this won't mean the company builds too much too soon.
Certainly, we've seen a number of projects, particularly around Auckland, that not going ahead, perhaps due to the fact that there has been the softening in the housing market and the difficulty in some of the operators in making the projects stack up. But no, we think that over time there is a need for new product rollout, both in the retirement side of the business and in the care side of the business, as the baby boomer market moves through into our segment.
Turner's Automotive Group has reported a 28% increase in net profit for the 6 months to September 30. That's driven by growth in its insurance business that has offset a countrywide slowdown in the automotive retail sector. The company reported revenue of $168.3 million, net profit rose to $12.9 million, and it will pay shareholders a quarterly fully imputed dividend of 4 cents a share taking half-year dividends to 8 cents a share. Chairman Grant Baker says the business has shown some resilience through tough market conditions in the first quarter and bounced back strongly in the second quarter. But of the key Auckland market, he said there has been a material reduction in vehicle demand due to cost pressures in fuel prices, rents and other household costs. Market conditions, particularly in the used import car market, remain challenging, and pressure is being placed on vehicle margins right across the industry. Derivatives issuer Halifax, New Zealand has frozen client funds after administrators were appointed to its parent in Australia on Friday. In an email to clients, Halifax, New Zealand Managing Director and 30% shareholder Andrew Gibbs said it would start working with the administrator and regulators to ensure the best outcome. He said its trading software would still allow customers to open and close positions, but there will be a delay in deposit withdrawal functionality until we have clearer information. The website of Halifax in Australia has been shut down and carries only a message saying it is undergoing maintenance. And so to tomorrow we go. Victoria Young speaks to the new Chief Executive at embattled law firm Russel McVeagh, Joe Avenel. Check it out at NBR online and enjoy the rest of your evening.
To unlock your 2 free articles a week, head to nbr.co.nz.